So give us your take then on the films and the actors really leading the nominations and those who got snubbed as well.
Well, I mean, everyone has their own choice, and my choice for Best Picture is not the front runner as I would like it to be, but I love The Irishman. I thought it was a brilliant film. Martin Scorsese did a great job tackling a really tough storyline. The performances, as you can see by the nominations they received, Pacino and Pesci, it was a great movie, but it looks like 1917, which is also a really amazing movie, is going to come through as Best Picture so far.
Now, something that we have seen clouding things ever since the nominations first came out, we saw that ever since the Oscars So White backlash, the Academy, it tried to make its voting membership more diverse. Some have argued that the Academy wasn't created with a diverse enough appreciation of the storytelling and acting that comes from people of color. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think the Academy has done some really good things about expanding the membership roles. You know, prior to about 10 years ago, membership were people like me. Now they're a lot more diverse. But however, the charges about Oscars So White this year are really undeserved. It's really gauged by the performances, and if you look at the acting performances, the best performances come through. I think the race part of it has been over-exaggerated. You know, people in the Academy are at the top of their fields, and they are educated enough to recognize what a good performance is regardless of who the person is and what their background is.
Well, that's certainly up for debate, but let's also now move on to the hosting itself. We know that this is going to be a hostless ceremony, as it was last year. What do you think of that idea, especially with what's happening with viewership?
Well, I think it's a great way to go. First of all, a lot of things that polarize the ratings are the politics that come into the Oscars. And this year, especially what's gone on recently here, you can only imagine the temptation for any host to embrace the political division that exists in the country. And the Oscars are about the celebration of the art of the film. And I think with no host, we're going to enjoy that a lot more than we would with a host.
Now, as we look at some of the changes, will the Academy be able to hold on to TV and a streaming audience, or is this process too antiquated? Does it need a real upgrade?
I think the Academy has been really keeping up with the changes in how people consume content. There is a large debate, and I think we talked about this before, between the streaming services and the traditional film studios. But once again, nobody tells stories better than American filmmakers. And if we can use whatever platform available to tell those stories, the industry should embrace that. And I think what you see with the nominations this year, with Netflix leading the pack, there's already, you know, the 2021 campaigns have already started because Sundance ended a few weeks ago. So you're going to see some interesting stuff happen.
And how is Netflix doing compared to some of the other streaming services that are entering the fray?
Well, once again, Netflix led the way this year. They have the most money to spend, and they really have focused on movies as well as TV. Now, Hulu, and you have CBS All Access, you have the Peacock now. It's growing by leaps and bounds, that category. But Netflix has certainly got their digs in early. Their productions, their filmmaker relationships are probably as strong as can be, and I think we're going to probably see them continue to lead the pack.
Now, we do see a little bit of snobbery coming from some traditional filmmakers and how they view streaming companies and what they do in terms of qualifying for some of the awards. Do you think that the traditional film industry is opening itself enough to some of the changes that are happening fast enough?
They have to. Let's be real about it. The cost of making a movie, not just shooting it, but the marketing expenses, are far beyond what any one person can fund, except when you come to the streaming companies. They seem to have unlimited resources and are the ones who are bankrolling the movies. Once again, look at the top 10 movies that are nominated. 2 of the 10 are Netflix films. The ranks of the Best Actors, Best Actress, and Supporting are all represented by Netflix films. It's not to say the majors aren't competing as they were, but I think we're going to see a change of the guard.
And do you have any other predictions for either major winners or perhaps upsets in the major category?
Well, you know, there could be the upset of Parasite. There is enormous momentum behind that film. It's certainly, I think, the front runner in the foreign film category, but in Best Picture, it would certainly set people on fire with it winning. ABC, I'm sure, is hoping that's not the case. They would like to see the Joker win because look at the amount of money Joker generated for across the world, and that's going to drive higher ratings than if a film like Parasite does sneak in.
All right, well, thank you as always. Stu Zakim there, owner of Bridge Strategic Communications and a member of the Academy since 1995.